Absolutely. Let's go. Nathan Rivera, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, 16 seconds into round number 1. Your winner by knockout, Nathan the Rivera.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, we would like to say Magandang Gabi to the one, the pride of the Philippines, the Reaper, Nathan Rivera. What's up, my guy?
Hey, how's it going? Can you guys hear me good on there?
Clear. Audio is actually great, brother.
Is the light straight?
Everything's cool, man. You
All
looking
right, cool.
good. Is this your podcast debut?
I think so.
Well,
I see something missing on your face right now. Just looking at you, it looks like something's missing.
It's a fight week exclusive only.
It's like last week was your porn debut. This week is your podcast debut.
That's good. That's a couple of debuts in 1 week. I'm with that.
For sure, man. You, I don't know if you heard Jesse Wable a little earlier, man. He gave you the knockout of the night at Jesse Wable's Amateur Series 4. As we just showed that video, when you watch it, man, when you watch what you did on that stage, how does it make you feel?
It makes me feel really good. Hold on, let me turn my volume down a little. I'm echoing a bit. It makes me feel really good. Can y'all hear echo, or is that just me?
That's just you.
Okay, my bad. No, it felt good. This was the first fight where I felt like I was completely in control of my body and my mind. I was like really dialed in. So watching it back, I was really pleased with the performance.
Man,
How many times have you watched it back? I imagine this is not the first time you've watched it.
No, a few times, definitely.
Does this go down as your biggest win so far?
I think so. I mean, it's definitely up there. I've had some really good wins. I think this one was just pretty big for me because I felt the sharpest in there. You know, I've had quick knockouts before, but this one didn't feel reckless. It didn't feel like I was just rolling the dice and just throwing what I want to throw. I was really reading him, and I was listening to my corner, and I felt like I could see everything pretty clearly in there. So it definitely goes up as one of the most important wins for me, for sure.
You showed a lot of emotions, man, following the knockout. Could you just express or explain to me, like, how does it feel to, you know, really realize you got that Thanos power right here and just put somebody out in front of everybody and be able to get on the cage and, you know, have your moment?
It felt good. I told one of my my teammates that drove me to the fight, I was like, man, I just want to dance around for 3 rounds. I want to pop my jab in his face. I'll win the unanimous decision, bro. Like, I don't want to like overextend myself. I don't want to put myself in like compromised positions. Like, I don't want to hunt for the knockout. I just want to pop my jab. I've been working that. I've been working my grappling a lot. I've been working my wrestling, and I just want to do that for 3 rounds. And it didn't end up that way. So it felt pretty good. Just because I lost 2 fights in a row, and not because I wasn't training hard, not because I wasn't doing the right work. Just I had a lot of obstacles to get over with the mental side of fighting. And I spent the last, I think I fought last in January. So I spent the last 10 months really working on that aspect of the game. So it definitely felt great.
So I was about to ask you about that. I see your last loss to Josh Kozer, but who did you fight after Kozer? Because it's not showing up on the database.
So to go back on that, like Josh Kozer. So during that camp, I had like a list of things that happened to me that kind of explains what happened with my last year of fighting. I tore my ACL in preparation for Josh a month before. I took the fight still, or at that time it was with a guy named Timothy Kiritin. Tore my ACL, and then Josh came in 2 days before that fight. And after that fight, I was like, you know what, I'm going to let my ACL heal, and I'm going to take a Thai fight. And it wasn't for the right reasons. It wasn't because I wanted to fight. I just wanted to get a win back. I didn't like the taste in my mouth. and I took a Thai fight, and I was really reckless. I didn't follow any game plan. I didn't listen to my coaches, and I just went up there and I didn't win. I got TKO'd for the first time in 11 fights, and like including boxing in 11 fights. So I had to go back to the drawing board, and not necessarily. So I'm gonna turn you guys down again. Not necessarily the physical side, but the mental side. So that's what happened there.
Following up on that, man, like, you know, you walked in here last time we saw you, you did take that TKO, man, in front of everybody. We haven't seen you. You said that you had a couple surgeries. When you walked into the cage on Friday, man, what was on the line for you?
It was a lot, you know. It felt like a lot. You try to always tell yourself, like, you know, this is just no pressure, no stress, but it's a lot, you know. You sacrifice so much coming to the gym every day. You know, I miss time with my family, with my girlfriend, with my friends. And in the back of your mind, you are thinking, like, man, I really hope that I can pull this off because I'm investing so much, you know. And especially coming off, you know, I lost a title fight, which was so big for me. And, you know, looking back, it wasn't that big of a deal. You know, of course, you build it up in your head, but at the time, that was the biggest thing, you know. It was a title fight. But you look at it and you're like, okay, I was an amateur. I took a fight on 2 days' notice against a really tough son of a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Josh is a stud. So I was like, but you don't want to give yourself those excuses, you know. And after that, that kickboxing fight that I had, that was the first time ever getting a concussion. And I had a pretty gnarly concussion. I couldn't train for a couple of weeks. Every time my heart rate would get up, my head would start pounding. So I had to just do like just strength conditioning. And then the first week I joined Team Lima, I tore my AC joint in my shoulder. So it was just like three things back to back. It was a torn ACL, it was a concussion, and then it was a torn AC joint in my shoulder. So I was out of the game for a long time, and I had a lot of time to think. So like it did feel like I had a lot on the line, because I'm like, my body is taking physical damage. I'm missing time with my family, and you know, I'm just kind of chasing this dream. And the closest people around me, they do get it. You know, they understand the dream and they believe in me. But you kind of have to, like, you got to, you know, put your money where your mouth is. You know what I'm saying?
And Josh Kozer just commented online, Nathan's the man.
So. I have a lot of respect for Josh. I told him after my fight and after his fight, we were talking, and I said, dude, thank you. I really appreciate our time in the cage together, because it made me a lot better of a fighter. That was one of the things that made me really, like, go back. Because what I did against Josh was not at all of a game plan. And, of course, it was a, like, 48-hour game plan, but the whole goal with him was to dance around and pop a jab and sprawl on his shots, because we knew that he was going to try to take me down. We didn't know it was going to be that quick. You know what I'm saying? It was not to pull a guillotine. It was not to do that. I've done that in a lot of fights, and it's gotten me caught up. So it was just, the game plan was to sprawl and to pop a jab. And I told him, thank you for that experience, because it made me a lot better of a fighter. I really had to go back to the drawing board and kind of rebuild, you know. So
Did you watch your teammate Walter Flores versus Josh Kozer the other night? And what did you think of that?
I was in and out of that fight. I got to go back and rewatch it. I've rewatched 6 or 7 of our fighters on Flow, so I got to go back and rewatch it. But I did catch some of it.
Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, we're being joined here by Nathan Rivera following his KO of the night at Jesse Wable's Amateur Series 4 this past Friday, November 4th, against Christian, Christian Hardin, that was.
Hardin.
Now, you mentioned ATT and how you just started training there, man. So you've been traveling an hour back and forth. Why? Why ATT? Why that type of sacrifice, man? Because, I mean, you know, gas prices just went through the roof a couple months ago. Like, why do you make that sacrifice in order to get out there with ATT?
Yeah, man, it is a sacrifice, because I do live in Marietta. I live close to the square. So by the time I get out of by the time, you know, I get freed up to go to the gym, I have to leave right before traffic hits. But even then, it's about an hour to an hour and 10 minutes, and then it's about 40 minutes to get home after training. And I was at XP North Marietta when I was with under Byron Bloodsworth, and he fought for the NFC multiple times. He used to coach a lot. And me and my training partner, Connor, we went there when our gym closed down. COVID hit, our gym closed down. It was a really small gym, Fusion MMA, and we went to North Marietta. And then Byron was at the end of his coaching career then. Like, he just switched up his job, so we kind of caught him at a wrong time. So I was trying to bouncing around, you know, but the thing with other gyms around here, just in general, is there's no one that puts it all together. We have like full MMA practice here, where you can't just come off the street and jump in the class. Like we have like, you have to be either like a blue belt, I think, or you have to be training for this amount of time. At any given time, I'll get on the mat and there's like 3 or 4 145-pound active MMA fighters to work with, all studs. You know what I mean? And I wasn't getting that at the gyms that I was at before. Everything was separate. We had no-gi, we had boxing, we had Muay Thai, we had everything separate, and we had nowhere to put it all together. We did like go live with MMA, but there was no drilling, there was no coach watching us. And I remember the first week I came here, I just was I watched how I came here, I checked it out, and I just watched for the first day so I could really like see how the coaches acted, how the fighters acted. And it was crazy. Like, just Coach Brantley and Coach Diego are really on it. Like, Coach Brantley cares about the fighters more than anyone I've ever met. Like, he really puts the fighters first. He's out every weekend cornering us. He goes above and beyond, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of fighters. It's a serious task, and he steps up to the plate and takes care of us for real. So
we put questions on Facebook and Instagram earlier for people to ask the fighters questions tonight. And one of your guys, Addison Graves, that's at your gym and also helps us with the fights, put a question that's probably pretty good for you. What's the best advice you've gotten from seasoned fighters or coaches?
What's crazy is that it's not like the same. You're probably going to get like 3 or 4 different answers, and that just speaks to the level of coaching that is here. It's not just a cookie cutter, do this, do that. Like, they know us and they know what we work well with, and they know how we respond to different things. So the biggest thing that I got, which I've been working on for myself, and my coaches know that, is like Brantley just told me, you have to believe in yourself, bro. Like I believe in you. Your teammates believe in you. Like, believe in yourself. And that really impacted me. He told me that before my fight, and it really meant a lot to me. And he was telling me, like, dude, you're a fucking stud, bro. Like, go out there and show it. And it's exactly what I needed to hear, and he's so dialed in, and me and Brantley have a really good relationship. And it's pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool. Brantley is definitely, I don't work a ton with Diego. I work with him when he's in the evenings, but with what I do, I only come, he works in the mornings a lot. I come in the evening. So I mainly work with Coach Brantley.
And what do you think is next for you? Now you're 3-3 in MMA. You were 2-3. You've got a 500 record now. Do you see yourself staying amateur a couple more fights, or do you have anyone looking to fight out there?
It's really up to my coaches. It's up to whatever Brantley says is the right move. I have a lot of trust in them. If they want me to stay amateur for however long I'll stay amateur, if they want me to go pro and they think I'm ready, I'd go pro. I would like to get some amateur fights where I test my grappling, because this camp, and since I've joined ATT, it's been all wrestling, jiu-jitsu, and putting it all together. I didn't get to show any of that. But that's been my main focus for like the past 9 months. And the film study that I've been doing, like everything I've been doing is kind of surrounded around grappling recently. And so I'd like to show that before I go pro,
We'll do one of our NFC Jiu-Jitsu events. There you go.
So I've done one of those, but I'd like to put it all together. You know what I mean? I really would like to get on the jiu-jitsu events though. If you guys have some blue belt openings, that'd be dope. Those look fun.
What belt are you, Julien?
Nah, you got to give me some time, but I would definitely compete against you, Nathan. I would definitely take the fight, bro. I would definitely take the fight. Just give me some time. Let me get right, man. But when I get right, you're going to be right. We can do that.
Hell yeah.
It'd be the fight of the decade. We can bill it and everything.
We'll do the tag team jiu-jitsu. Myself and Julien, just versus you.
Word.
We can do that.
Word.
Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, we were joined here by my man Nathan Rivera following his 16-second knockout over Christian Hardin at Jesse Wable's Amateur Series number 4. You mentioned how you're able to get to ATT Team Lima all the way in Gwinnett after you're freed up. What are you doing during the day in order to make ends meet?
So for the last 2.5 years, I worked as a commercial AR specialist, and it was just a desk job at home, working from home, and it really wasn't for me. So about 2 months ago, I started welding school. So I'm a certified welder now. I graduate on December 9th. I'm sorry. and that week following, I'll be working as a certified welder. So right now I'm just going through the school, and it's from 7 o'clock to 2:30, and that's in Ackworth, so kind of the opposite side of the map. And then I go home in Marietta, take a quick shower, grab some food, get to the gym at like 4:30. I leave at 3:30, get there at 4:30, and then I'm here until about 8:39 every night. Chad just texted me and said, "Tell Julien I want sub of the night." Anyways, but yeah, so by the time I leave here, I go home, I take a shower, wake up, do it all over again.
That seems like a whole lot of sacrifice that you're making, man. And I think that just leads me to this. What are you fighting for, Nathan? Like, why are you going out there and putting it on the line and going through, the physical pain, the mental attrition, the daily drives back and forth? Why are you doing this, man?
Dude, so the why actually for me, it changed kind of when I spent a lot of time working on myself and my mental and figuring out my why. Because I was like, how much I'm training, how much I'm doing. Like, I know I'm fighting good fighters, but something's not right. I'm 2-3, and I'm doing the most. I'm doing more than anybody that I fight. You know what I'm saying? But it's not adding up. So something's not right here. So I really had to go back and think about it. And before I was like, what's my why? And I didn't really have one. And I was just like, man, my why is so that when I'm gone one day, people will remember my name. And that's a really selfish why. It's just shallow, but that was just when people ask me, like, what's your why do you do that? Because that's a common question, right, in the fight world, and that's a pretty shitty why. So I really did some thinking and some really, why am I doing this? Like, why? And who inspires me? Like, what have I pulled from other people? And the thing that I came up with is that when I have kids one day, or people that look up to me, or the people that I can mentor. And that's another reason why I fight, is because it provides a really good platform for me to give back. It could be a different platform, but for me, this is the platform that it kind of chose me, but I want just my kids to know one day that, like, if you really love something, you can find a way to make money from it. And kind of like what you're doing, Julien. I remember you told me, you were like, yeah, dude, I kind of like this wasn't a thing before. There was no one doing podcasts like this. There was nobody interviewing people after the fights, and you kind of made that niche, and and now you're making money off of it. And it's a similar why for me. It's because I love MMA and I love competing, and I love that I'm a better man when I compete. I'm a better boyfriend, a better son, a better friend. The day that switches, if that ever switched, I would stop fighting, because I believe it makes me a better man. And I really want my kids to know one day that if you want to be a painter or an artist, you can make money off of it. Like, you don't have to listen to all those old heads that tell you, fuck that, go get a job, go to college, do this, because you can't make money from that. Like, that's not a real job. Like, it can be a real job. One of my teammates, Trayshawn Gore, just choked the fuck out of that guy on UFC Fight Pass and made $50K. Like, tell me you can't make a living out of this. You know what I'm saying? So that's my why. And ever since I dialed that in, my life kind of changed. I wasn't going to the gym every day for me. I wasn't going here to show everybody that, I'm going to be remembered one day. It's not that. It's to inspire others so that they can. And of course, it's fun, dude. You know what I mean? Like, this is the best thing you could do. Like, knocking heads, you know what I'm saying? But like, it really is just, hopefully one day my kids will be like, dang, bro, I want to follow that up.
So I did have one question. You're saying, how are you a better boyfriend when you fight? Like, what does that mean?
I mean, like, just the people that I'm around when I fight and when I compete, I think I hold myself to a higher standard all around, right? Like, I hold myself to a higher standard with what I eat, with how I act, with my training. I'm more disciplined. My girlfriend will probably tell me the opposite, but I think it makes me more self-aware when I fight, because you can't let anything slide, because someone's going to check you on your bullshit in a couple weeks in the cage. So it makes me more self-aware all around in all aspects of my life.
Your dad was there at the fight. It seems like you were pointing directly at him when you got up on the cage, man. My dad is my best friend. I could say that confidently, man. How did that feel to share that moment with him?
It felt great. My dad's been at every single one of my fights. And it's cool. You know, it felt really good that he was there. He gets really nervous. You know what I mean? Before the fight, I think he gets more nervous than me just sitting there. So it's cool to share that. My dad, he did sports in high school, and he competes in other things and stuff. And you know, he really like, oh man, he loves boxing, he loves fighting, he's a fan of the sport. So for me to show my dad, you know, all this time I invest when I was a kid, putting me in taekwondo and putting me in wrestling and all this stuff, showing him that it kind of paid off, and I can do what I love and be successful at it. It definitely makes me happy.
That's beautiful, man. That's a dope ass why too. If I gotta say so, my damn self.
For sure.
That's a beautiful moment, man. Was able to talk with him, man. He was definitely proud of his son and that 16-second knockout. Now, David, I did ask what was next. Did you ask what was next?
Yeah, I think I asked him if he's going to stay amateur or go pro. He said it was up to his trainers, and if there's anyone he wanted to call out there.
Yeah, was there anybody that you did want to fight?
I mean, no, there's not really anyone that I have like my eyes on. Like, I really want that fight. Like, whoever comes. I don't know. This might sound weird. I don't really have like. It's not really like I'm fighting a person. Whenever someone like it's not like I'm fighting them. I'm literally just fighting a style. It feels like. Like,
you're just fighting the goal. You're fighting the goal of getting a fight, training for it, overcome the obstacle,
right?
And doing
like
everything that goes into it.
It sounds
regardless of who we put.
Yeah, like whoever it is. Like let's say I fight someone who has really good hands. They're just a fighter that has hands. Like their name doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter if I'm fighting a really good wrestler. All right, cool. I'm fighting a really good wrestler. Now I'm gonna tweak the whole next 6 weeks of my life to prepare for this opponent. So it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? I'm not out here trying to duck. I've never ducked anybody. You know, Jesse, it's one thing Jesse said, I think, to me or maybe my coaches, he said, Nathan's never turned down a fight. No matter how many opponents switches up, Nathan has never turned down a fight. And if you go look at my Tapology, there's like 7 canceled bouts, and that's not even all of them, and I've never turned down one of them. So, you know, it is what it is. Amateur is all about, and this is so funny because I'm talking to Julien now after a win, but after my second loss, I was talking to Julien, and I said, this is what amateur is all about. Like, I'm not here for easy. I don't know if I said this, but I'm not here for easy fights. I said, I'm here to just learn and get better because, you know, whenever that time comes that I go pro, it's not going to matter.
And I don't.
And 2 years ago, you actually fought and lost to your now teammate, Mike Bardsley.
Right. And that's one of my closest teammates. And we're really good friends. And he's so encouraging and gives me such good tips, and one of the most humble, like, bad motherfuckers, dude. Like, he's the hardest round. I hate fighting him. I hate grappling him. Like, and he makes me so much better. So it's crazy. We really then we bonded during that fight. We had like a 3-round brawl, and that was like one of the most fun fights. If someone said, what was your favorite fight? It was that fight.
And as you guys were talking about your dad, Ashley Sprayberry, who works at our front door, said Nathan's dad was the first person at the door and was an absolute pleasure to chat with for 45 minutes.
Good. Yeah, he gets there early. He doesn't want to miss it.
Shout out to your dad, man. And Nathan, you mentioned the conversation that we had a couple years ago, man. I don't know if you remember. My response to that was like, your comeback story is going to be one of the best ever, man.
No doubt.
And what you did on Friday night was definitely something that tugged at my heartstrings, man. Seeing you do that and seeing you hold that Philippines flag proudly, bro. That was a great moment, man. We're so happy that we were able to witness that, share it with you. Before we part ways today, man, we want your final thoughts. What do you want to leave us in the NFC community?
You know, I like the NFC. I like the venues. I like that when you guys say something's going to happen, it happens. There's no bullshit. You get your fight check after the fight at the same time. When you're in the back, you get your gloves. There's no bullshit, you know what I mean? And it runs smooth, and that's the reason why it's been running for 20 years, you know what I mean? Or however long it's been running. I've seen other promotions, and it's always, some shit's always whack, you know what I'm saying? I like the NFC. I like fighting for Jesse Wable's Amateur Series. I really would like to headline one time. Get maybe a quick 5-rounder in before I go pro, maybe. Or not even, bro. Not even if you want to just let me headline it. If you want to see me knock someone out for 5, you know, for a big build up, you know what I'm saying? I like the promos too. Those are fun. So that's it. That's about it, man.
I appreciate
you guys, and Julien and Gently, just you guys are doing a great job with all the production of that, like the videos and the interviews and shit. Like that's not something that a lot of amateurs get to experience. So I'm really appreciative of it.
Much love, bro.
And you actually got paid before the fight. We handed out your check.
I'll take that, man.
Absolutely. Nathan, we appreciate you, man. Shout out to you for just doing your thing and joining us on your first ever podcast, man. This is NFC Now. That is Nathan Rivera. Next to him is David Oblas. Nathan, we appreciate you so much. And you know what? You ask and you shall receive. I love the way that you're vocal about what you want. You said you want to headline a Jesse Wable's Amateur Series. I'm sure he's listening to this, and I'm sure he thinks that is a good idea because I think that is an amazing idea, brother.
Word. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
For sure. Have a good one, Nathan.